you doing? My name's Dave, and if you've had a total change of lifestyle, haven't made a video in over 2 years, and somebody on the audio bus forum got you a copy of an app so you could update an old video and you decided to change the entire format, you can call me Daveypoo, the mobile music minstrel. How you doing? That's right, I am back, and I've got a new, updated, crazy format, and I'm trying something new because, as I said, I haven't made a video in over 2 years, so, why not try something new? So today, we are going to update my app comparison of the Hammond B3 organ emulator apps for iOS. All right, today we are looking at Galileo II by Yonac. We are looking at VB3m by GSI. We're looking at Blue3 by GG Audio, which is the new kid on the block. And then the classic Hammond B3X by IK Multimedia. So I'm going to try to go through here and give you a sort of baseline comparison for what you can expect when you open the box. Now, couple of disclaimers here. I cannot possibly compare every single feature and every single sound in these apps. They have different features from one another. Some have some features that others don't, and vice versa. So I have chosen some specific things that I am going to compare here for you. First thing is the baseline tone. No percussion, no chorus, no Leslie, no nothing. And then I'm going to run through a few different drawbar settings for each and compare how they sound. Once we've taken care of that, we're going to do some percussion testing now. We're only comparing the fast and third setting on the percussion for each organ. Again, it'd be too long a video to make sure that we compare each one, so we're just doing fast and third. Then we're going to do chorus C3, we're going to compare that, and then lastly we're going to compare the Leslie speeds, fast, slow, and break, and then we're going to do a quick feature comparison to sort of run through what each one offers, and then I will sum up everything at the end. So let's dive right in and see what we can see. I'm hosting here in 8 Matrix as always. Now, I am running in each app into the VU meters here so that you can see that the level is roughly equivalent between all of them. And then I am also running 2 instances of Atom piano roll. One instance has just me going up a C major scale with single notes, and then me going up the C major scale with just basic triads, so you can hear how each tone compares with single notes versus with chord shapes. Then the second instance of Atom piano roll has a solo taken from one of my songs so that you can hear what each sounds like in more of a performance setting, since nobody's going to be just playing them going up a C major scale with whole notes. Okay, so here we go. Alright, if you look right here, you'll see the VU meter showing, and I'm going to just go through the apps real quickly here, and you'll see that they're roughly the same volume. Things aren't exact here. Each one has a different output. VB3m has a particularly low output, but I didn't want the loudness of each app to be a factor in the comparison, so I tried to get them into the same ballpark, and you can see here that they are roughly equivalent to one another. Here's a quick view of how I have things set up in 8 Matrix, just so you can see what I'm doing, but we're going to start out here with Galileo II by Yonac. Okay, now that we've heard the bass tone for each app, let's run through that same performance clip, but with a few different drawbar settings so you can get an idea of how that compares to each other. Now let's take a look at the percussion settings for each app. We're going to compare the fast and third settings for each one, and we're going to run up the major scale with single notes, do the triads at the major scale, and then we're going to do a performance clip for each so you can hear how that sounds. We're going to compare choruses now, and we're going to look at the C3 setting for each app, the major scales, and another little performance clip. All right, lastly, we're going to look at the Leslie for each app. We're going to compare the fast and slow, and we're going to compare the fast and break, and you're going to hear ramp up and ramp down times for each app. Okay, let's talk features. Each of these apps has a different set of features that they offer, and they don't always offer the same thing, so I wanted to walk through a little bit of what makes each app unique. Here in Galileo 2, you've got some different organ models: clean, traditional, used, loved. I think those are different levels of bleed and crosstalk and things like that, but they don't specify in this app exactly what those are emulating. But you also have here some Farfisa and Gibson type organs, so you have a wide variety of types of organ. It's not just a B3. Also, you have your standard key click settings, your percussion settings. You have an arpeggiator, so you can dial in an arpeggiator, which is definitely not standard. You have some effects in here. You have a ring modulator, a wah, preamp, rotary speaker. That's your Leslie settings, the delay, and a reverb. You have a lot of options here in Galileo 2, so you really have a wide palette of tones and can push this into a tonal range that's outside the standard B3 sounds. Here in VB3m, now VB3m is pretty light on features. You have two different Leslie speaker cabinet models. You have a guitar cabinet model and a direct out. So they don't specify exactly what these are, but you're gonna have to flip through them and use your ears to kind of figure out which sounds you like. You have volume, you have a basic bass and treble, you have the key click volume, you have drive and a reverb. You can balance the microphones, you can pull the microphones further away from the cab if you want a little room sound in there. Here you have your sound settings. You can, split your upper and lower manuals. You can add the string-based decay time. You can tune it. Then you have a keyboard. You have some MIDI mapping. But of the apps, VB3 has the least amount of customizable options. Conversely, Blue3 has the most options. This is so feature-rich. It's really impressive. Just on the front panel, you've got a pre and post reverb, you've got a tube overdrive with 4 different types, A, B, C, and high, you've got a drive level, you've got a low EQ, you've got a mid EQ, you've got a high EQ, you've got ambiance, okay, and that's aside from just your standard B3 settings. And then if you flip to the cabinet page, you can spread the microphones further apart, the further away from the amp, the brilliance. You can place them at the front of the cabinet, which is closed, which will have a little bit more of a muffled sound. You can put them at the back, which will have a brighter sound because the back of a Leslie cabinet is traditionally open. You have the direct, custom, you have different cabinet types. You have a diffuser on or off. You have the horn rotor settings, the bass rotor settings, okay? And again, you go even further into the advanced. You've got a ton of different models and cap types, new and old, and red mylar and recapped and wax, and it's really impressive. And the little chart there shows you all the different sort of EQ curves for each of these, so you really can dial in exactly the type of B3 tone you want. You've got percussion adjustments, you've got the condition, you've got fullback, you've got all sorts of really in-depth features here. And then settings is, where you could do your MIDI mapping, your tuning. It's super in-depth. Like I said, of all the apps, this is the most feature-rich, and you really can get into the guts of this and make it into whatever you want. And then lastly, Hammond B3X. Here on the front page, you've got all your standard organ settings. You can either have the keyboard showing or have the keyboard not showing. If you click the little icon up in the corner there, you can get into the key click settings. There's 4 or 5 different B3 models, also an A100, which is another type of Hammond organ, but the guts are the same, even though the actual casement that it's in is different. The mechanics are still the same. And you've got your percussion settings, you've got chorus settings, your keyboard split settings. This comes with some stomp box type effects. So you've got like an Ibanez tube screamer and a Boss chorus, a spring reverb, a wah pedal, an EQ pedal. And then if you go even further, you've got post effects, which are like more studio type effects, a studio reverb and a limiter and a really nice EQ. Here you've got all your Leslie cabinet settings, what type of cab you want, whether you want a guitar cab, you want to mix and match the amp type with the cab type. It's pretty rich as far as offering you B3 specific options. Doesn't go quite as far as Blue3 does, but there's a lot here, and you really have the ability to dial in exactly what kind of tone that you want. So there you go. What do you guys think of these apps? I always hesitate to pit one against the other because I think there's value to everything here. I think you could get use out of everything. But people always want to know what my opinion is and what one I would go with. So begrudgingly, I'm going to give you my opinion. I would say that Galileo 2 is my least favorite. I don't feel like Galileo has aged as well as some of the other apps that have come out new. Galileo sounds real thin to me. It doesn't have the heft or the weight or the meatiness that some of these other apps do in tone. It's kind of piercing to me. The Leslie is the thing I think that gives it away the most. It just doesn't feel right. By itself, I think it's fine. I used Galileo 2 exclusively as it was the only one around for a long time. So they get props for being the first. But as time has gone by, I think, there have been better options. VB3m would be my next up. I think VB3m sounds a little bit muffled to me, and it's a little thin on features. But for an inexpensive, I need a Hammond organ on a track, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of money, I think VB3m would be the way to go. I think Blue3 comes in second for me. It's very close between first and second, but Blue3 comes in second. The features on Blue3 just blow the rest of the apps away. The amount of organs that you have in there, all the different caps, the way that you can just dial it in. I think you could probably recreate almost any organ with the feature set on Blue3 if you got really diligent and dug in. I think it sounds really good. I think it sounds really competent. I liked it quite a bit. The king still, though, is Hammond B3X. Something about the tone of it, without too much effort, it just sounds great. It sounds big, it sounds full, it sounds professional. It might not have the depth of options that Blue3 does, but it just, for ease of use, as far as just getting straight to a super meaty, believable Hammond organ tone, that's the one that I would go with every time. Of course, Hammond B3X is the most expensive. I'm going to put up here the current prices for what these apps are as of the making of this video, so you can see, but I believe Hammond B3X is still the most expensive. So you have to take that into consideration with your purchase. Are you looking for the most realistic tone? Are you featuring the Hammond organ in your track, or do you just need it for the background? That's going to weigh into what you pay and how much you want to invest in this sort of thing. So,
hey everybody, Dave here in the editing room, and it just occurred to me that you've been listening to the same organ solo for this entire video. If you want to hear that same solo in the track where it was meant to be and in context, I will link the video in the description below, and you can go watch the video and you can listen to the track and you can tell me what you think. All right, back to business.
Anyway, I hope you guys liked the video. Please, click the bell and to be notified of new videos, and like the video. That really helps out. And subscribe to the channel because that helps out as well. And, I'll hopefully be doing more videos, probably less frequently than before, but hopefully will be a better quality with the new studio and all the new stuff. And the format's gonna, change as I kind of adjust and do this more professional thing, but I hope you liked it. I hope you stick around. Maybe I should talk a little more and just say a whole bunch of words just so I can keep talking and keep the video, make it longer, and do all sorts of stuff and things the other stuff sideways and upside down and the other way. Anyway, I hope you liked the video, and I will see you guys next time, baby. Later.